Everybody, I am Mr. Moji from Al Faisal International Academy School. So today we're going to speak about science here for grade 6, unit 5, lesson 3, observing the universe, page 144 to page 146. First of all, we want to start about our learning objectives. So at the end of this lesson, the student should be able to define the term universe, appreciate the vast scale of the universe and the difficulties in studying it. State the universe contains billions of galaxies, and state that galaxy contain billions of stars. Starting by the introduction now. The universe is formed by what? It's formed by many billion galaxies and many billions of stars. So I'm going to see here. So the stars, 1,000, 10,000, more than 10,000 stars that we can see it by using our eyes. Also, all of this we can find inside the universe. So, and also we have also the galaxies. The galaxies also that are so far away that you cannot see them without a giant microscope. The stars we can see it. The galaxies we cannot see it only by a telescope. And then after that we will go directly to speak about the different characteristics of the universe. After the sun and the moon, the next brightest objects in the sky are the planets Venus and Jupiter. And then we can also see the planets Saturn, Mars, and Mercury with your eyes alone. This is one is a Mercury, is the smallest planet, and also it is what is a Jupiter, the biggest planet. We have Mercury, and also we have the Jupiter. And then after that we will understand other things about what about the Venus. We're going to define, characterize, to compare between Venus and Jupiter. You know that the Venus is so close to the horizon, looking west soon after the sunset, or looking east just before dawn. To your eyes, it looks like a very bright star. Look, this is a Venus, very bright star. Venus has phases, changes shape like the moon as is orbiting the sun. So this is one, it is the Venus and the moon lobe. This one is the moon. The Jupiter now. Even with the low power binocular, you can see some of the Jupiter's moon. Look for using binocular. Those are the different Jupiter's moon. So Nathaniel Francis Galileo Galilei in 1564 to 1642 was the first person to point the telescope at the night sky and see that some planets have moon that move around them. After that, we're going to speak about the constellation. What's mean a constellation? It's a group of stars together. Group of stars esteem the pattern in the sky. We call of this patterns are called constellation. The ancient people saw this pattern as people and animal. Can you find the constellation Orion and Hunter? The stars align called the Orion belt. So this one is Orion. This star can mix what many shapes, sometimes shapes animal, or the Big Dipper, the Great Bear, or the Cassiopeia. So those the most important constellation we can see. After that, we will make a summarize for this lesson what you have learned about this lesson. First one, what you have learned. So we have the word box here, galaxies, stars, and universe. The is the whole of the space and everything that is contains. There are billion of where? In the universe. Each galaxy has billion of what? Think about the answers. Perfect. So the answers now. The universe is the whole of the space of everything that is contained. There are billion of galaxies in the universe, and there are in the galaxies there are billion of stars. Yes, it is like that. Next one now. Let's go to the space travel. Next lesson, page 147, 149. So, at the end of this lesson, the student should be able to understand, to describe some of the success and the problem of manned space flight, discuss some of the difficulties created by the living of the weightless condition. So those our objectives should be known at the end of this lesson. The first person who make a travel to the universe to the space is Galileo Galilei, the Russian astronaut in 1961. In 1965, first spacewalk. An astronaut left his capsule wearing a his work in space. In 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon. In 1981, the space shuttle, so this one is a space shuttle here that you're seeing here. Columbia, the first reusable spacecraft, was launched. In 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded shortly after launch. All its crew died. In 1993, the Space Shuttle the Endeavour met up with the Hubble Space Telescope so that astronauts could repair it. In 1998, the first part of the International Space Station was launched. In 2003, the Space Shuttle Columbia broke up and re-entered into the Earth's atmosphere. All its crew died. So this is some of our information about the space travel. This is called what? This astronaut is a Russian astronaut called Yuri Gagarin. Yuri Gagarin in April 12, 1961. After that now, since Gagarin first flight, more than 440 people have been into space. Today, astronauts may spend up more than 6 months there in the space. Time working aboard the International Space Station doing experiment in the weightless condition. What's meaning weightless? Weightless does mean there is no gravity there in the space. For example, look, it is what? In the space shuttle, they're making some exercise. So some exercise, physical exercise, to what? Because there we are not using their muscles. So you need to make a lot of exercise for them. It will be better for them and for their heart. So this is astronaut without any gravity acting on it. So it's called weightless. And the big difference between the living in the space and the Earth is the weightless. Here there is no weightless. Muscles do not have much work to do in the weightless condition. So the astronaut exercise regularly to maintain the strength of their muscles and heart. And then, after that, we'll try to watch this video about the astronaut and how the different things that made by the astronaut. If you cannot see this video, try to follow this link to understand something about the universe. The astronaut now,
who travels into space. The word astronaut comes from Greek and means star sailor. Yuri Gagarin was the first man in space in 1961. The first woman in space was Valentina Tereshkova in 1963. Both of them were from Russia. Since the first man went to space, a little over 500 people from 38 countries have been past the Earth's borders. The American Space Association is called NASA. It stands for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Gravity is a force that keeps us on Earth. It holds us down and makes things fall. On other planets, gravity has a different strength than it does on Earth. And in space, there's almost no gravity. That means when astronauts are out there, they float. Astronauts have to be very smart and healthy and train for a long time before they are ready to leave Earth. To help prepare for floating in space, astronauts do some of their training underwater. Because there isn't much gravity pushing an astronaut's spine together, sometimes they can grow up to 2 inches taller while they're in space. At night, you can see the moon in the sky. Did you know that 12 men have walked on the moon? The first person to walk on the moon was Neil Armstrong.
Yes, we can continue now this video by following this link. After that, we will continue our lesson. Journey on Mars should be what? Different things, different characteristics that you need to follow it. The next great challenge for the human journey on Mars, still not make it. So there are a plan to make a trip by 2030, so you can be one of the astronauts on board. Yes, why not? can be one from the astronaut that we can travel there in 2030. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun, smaller and colder than Earth. The temperature we can find it there minus 60 degrees Celsius. And also to make a travel to Mars, the astronaut need at least 6 months. They will have to spend time exploring surface and leaving the designing habitat. Habitat like this. You need to make what? Design some houses or habitat to still alive there because there is no oxygen and there is no water there. This is the space shuttle that we need to use it to travel to the Mars. And then we're going to make a summary for our lesson. Human beings who travel into the space are called, yes, was the first visible spacecraft which orbit around the Earth has. Yes, try to think about those questions and take your time. Perfect. You finish? Great job. So the first one answer, the first human being who travel into the space are called what? Called astronaut. This one is called the space shuttle, was the first visible spacecraft. The International Space Station, which orbit around the Earth, has been occupying since 2000 in space. And next one, the condition it is there is no gravity there, so it's called what? Weightless condition. There need to build themselves standing habitat to stay alive there. Thank you so much for your attention and see you next lesson.